Hello everyone, how are you doing? This is Daryl Guberman, the CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, a quality consulting firm here in Connecticut. Business owners, my fellow citizens, we're here today. I've been open for 13 years in business, assisting companies in quality certification, ISO certification in all derivatives. We are also a consultant, my background being aerospace, medical implants, medical materials, printing, and plastic distribution. We have a very important guest here today. We want to get through this. And by the way, Mr. Larsen, Rick, if you want, all the data will be down below this video, all of it. I'm going to give you just a bridge version. I don't want it to be 20 minutes like one video was yesterday. That's not good. It's good for my deposition when I come visit you guys, because I think it's going to be very difficult, because I'm going to tell you why. I want to pose a question to you, the general public. Mr. Larsen has been, he's a representative out in Washington State. The worst thing is that you call these people up. I know it happened to me. I called up this guy, Chairman Sam Graves of the Transportation Infrastructure Committee, and his intern or whatever said, "We can't answer you." I said, "I have very important information about Boeing. I'm a quality professional, 40 plus years. We can't answer it. Call your representation. I want to show you what my representation does." Just hold on a second. We have in Connecticut, Rosa DeLauro. We have 7, but the main 4 that are more than publicized in newspapers and camera portfolios like Richard Blumenthal. So we have Richard Blumenthal, Rosa DeLauro, Jim Himes, and Christopher Murphy. Let me tell you the litany of this, and then we'll get back to this mess with Mr. Larsen there, Rick, if you don't mind me calling you that. But I called his thing, this guy, and he says, call your representation in your state. Whoa, I pay federal taxes. We are all individuals here in the United States of America, not the United States of Missouri. I hate that, show me state, but right now it's called the blow me state. Exactly, blow. And I'm sorry to use that. Maybe they have a lot of balloons there. There was a balloon. Wasn't there a Chinese balloon? Oh, North Dakota. What are you going to do? Anyway, we're going to continue on. So we have those 4 representation here, if you can call them that. In 2009, Lockheed Martin gets hacked by China taking the F-35 fighter. We have all the data. 2012, a division of United Technologies gets hacked by China and taking the Black Hawk, Seahawk, etc. In 2015, Lockheed Martin goes to purchase Sikorsky aircraft, and this is what's in the Connecticut Mirror. With China's okay, Lockheed Martin closes in on the purchase of Sikorsky aircraft. And in there, those 4 representation people, whatever they are, Rosa DeLauro, Jim Himes, Christopher Murphy, Richard Blumenthal, and Jim Himes, Christopher Murphy, Rosa DeLauro, and Richard Blumenthal all got quoted as saying, but Connecticut lawmakers praise Lockheed Martin for working with an international regulator. In reality, it should have said Connecticut lawmakers, Rosa DeLauro, Richard Blumenthal, Chris Murphy, Jim Himes, praise our #1 military contractor, Lockheed Martin, for working with communist China. Now, how in good conscience could I call my representation on top of it? Sam Graves, Garrett Graves, and Rick Larsen are all getting bribed by Lockheed Martin. On a sheet that looks like this, it's called Lockheed Disbursements, which means how in good conscience could they inquisition the FAA? How could they do that when Lockheed Martin, most recently, in a article, their 801st F-35 discrepancies up to including loss of aircraft and loss of pilot? How could we in good conscience have reliability on the questions that they're asking when they're getting financed by Lockheed Martin? I know you're going to look, $1,000 here, Daryl, $5,000 there. Well, what Lockheed does is they take contracts and divide them up amongst many, many states, so that if a president or congressman say, we have to do some cutbacks, Lockheed says, well, I'm going to have to lay off 10,000 people at Lockheed, and all those states are going to take a bang too. That's smart business, I would say. But when you have our number one military contractor having to wait for the permission of China and having 4 politicians that I'm supposed to go to with a complaint, it's never going to happen. That's number 1. Number 2, there's 3.6 million people in the state of Connecticut. Go find out what your states are out there. I gave you a statistic the other day on videos that we made for these 2 people. And you'll find out. We have 7 representatives. That means there's 500,000 people each they watch over, and it's theoretically and mathematically impossible for them to answer you. They will send you a form letter and say, God bless America. And that's it. Oh, sorry. With Rosa DeLauro, Jim Himes, Chris Murphy, and Richard Blumenthal, they say, God bless China. Sorry. So let's continue on, Mr. Larsen. Since you are getting paid by Lockheed Martin, we looked up your saggy history. You've been in office since 2001, and I have to really tell you this. It is absolutely disgusting and deplorable how you can ask the FAA questions, okay? Michael Whitaker questions, and he's here as well. Where is he? Michael Whitaker over here, FAA. How could you ask these questions when you're getting paid from a company whose deficiencies and escapes are monumental? Look at their LCS Littoral battleship. It's $1 billion boondoggle that they're having issues with. Let's continue on. You have the American National Standards Institute, which is a private, not-for-profit, non-governmental entity, corporation, been around for 100 plus years. They have both federal agencies and corporations on board. Here is Boeing. We're not going to go into the elaborate too much on this, but you can find all the data down below this video. Boeing sits on ANSI's board, the American National Standards Institute, and the American National Crediting Board, where ANSI and ANAP ANSI took over complete control over ANAP in 2018. In 2002, Rick, let me just show you this. Lockheed came out with a supplier notification that said, if you are ANSI ANAP accredited AS9100, for you that may not know this, the AS9100 is an international organizational standard certification that is required by all aerospace industries. Boeing and Lockheed especially require ANSI ANAP, but we are a competitor to them. You will get quality first, not quantity that you got out of Boeing. Boeing basically said in this supplier notification, they said that if you send us an AS9100 cert accredited by ANAP, ANSI ANAP, then just send us the cert, send us your parts, and we no longer have to do source inspection. We know how long you have to send Lockheed, no longer have to send Boeing inspectors to your facilities. Don't get me wrong. They did a little bit of sample inspection, but as you can see with their deficiencies, it didn't work. On top of that, in 2009, when Mr. David Calhoun was sitting on their board, Mr. David Calhoun back there was sitting on the board, and in 2009, the FAA came in and granted them regulatory authority. So when you have this issue here that in fact, this video, I'm going to say right now, this is the title. Rick Larsen questions FAA Administrator Whitaker on Whistleblower Hotline for FAA Regulator Boeing from 2009 to present. So you're basically having them blow the whistleblower. The whistleblower's blowing isn't even going to do anything because you have them ratting on an FAA regulator. How can a regulator, ladies and gentlemen, watch over a regulator? They don't want this to come forward. They're going to make an excuse. That guy Guberman is not telling the truth. I've got the documentation more so than these guys do. Also, on their supplier portal, it requires ANSI ANAP, as you can see, or ANSI ASQ, National Crediting Board. And by the way, they're so proud of their quality, it still reads this way on their website. In 2018, as I said, ANSI took over complete control over ANAP, so they should have upgraded their website. For 6 years of delinquency, they have not been proud enough to put ANSI ANAP, yet they require them on their supplier portal. Also, by the way, internationally equivalent, and that could be Iran or Pakistan. The worst thing, Rick, and I have to tell you, is that they got caught fudging documentation. By the way, when they were regulators. On top of it, most recently, the Department of Justice gave them an $8.1 million fine for fudging documentation in their V-22 Bell Boeing composite facility. And that's my specialty, is composites. That's what I was working on in aerospace, is composites, plastics, non-ferrous metals, aluminum, titanium alloys. So here you go, proof of the pudding, okay? Everything will be down below this video on how China was watching over you guys. Lockheed Martin, 2015 to 21, they sat on the IF with China while China was taking the information. And as a friend of mine said, it's not hacking, ladies and gentlemen, it's giving the data away. Every one of these organizations who have the ANSI ANAB certification have gotten their data taken one way or another, and we have all the proof. My telephone number is 203-556-1493 or Daryl, Daryl, TQRS at yahoo.com. And we tried to put some information up on Google today, responses for for the 737 MAX and what's going on in Washington. And this is why they don't want me up there, is because Google/YouTube got hacked many, many times. Why? Because they're a member of ANSI ANAB, okay? Who did they sit on in 2015 to 21? They sat there giving their data away. Your and my data. That's no lie. I've got the information. By the way, we're going to put this on other platforms, so if they want to take this video down, be my guest, because the truth is the truth. And I will say this to the Google members there, YouTube. The truth will set you free, but not until it is finished with you. And I have not finished with you, nor any of these gentlemen up there. They're not done. The only one who seems like they tell the truth was when Patrick Shanahan, the former Deputy Secretary of Defense under Trump, and now he's the CEO of Spirit Aerospace Systems that supplies materials to Boeing. I think they did a thing with the door that popped off, whatever. But he said that when asked about the F-35, he said the program is fucked up. Well, let me tell you something about this, Patrick. It's not just the program. After their 801st ship, F-35, the ship is fucked up too, just like the LCS Littoral battleship. I thank you.